Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at a 1 to 5 player game published by Lucky Duck Games, and that is Flamecraft. Flamecraft, you are a flamekeeper who is in charge of enticing dragons to make amazing goods for the different shops and to improve your local community, and then you can be labeled the Flame Master. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'll give you a general idea how to play the game, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Flamecraft. In a game of Flamecraft, you're playing as artisan dragons. Artisan dragons are creative little crafters who sprout specialized flames to help them create a variety of tasty or healthful goods. They are highly sought after by shopkeepers who hope to draw in and delight customers with their flame craft. You are a flame keeper, skilled in the art of conversing with dragons and placing them in ideal homes and casting enchantments to entice them to produce wondrous things. Your reputation will grow as you aid the dragons and shopkeepers, and the flamekeeper with the greatest reputation will be known as the master of Flamecraft. And in this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain points through improving the town here and just making the town a better place and gaining reputation. So, how do you set up the game? First, you're going to shuffle up this dragon deck and place 5 dragons out. Face up, you're going to hand 3 dragons out to each player. Then you're going to take these fancy dragons and hand 2 fancy dragons to each player. Each player is going to take a look, at these fancy dragons here. And they are going to select one of them and put the other one on the bottom. Now these fancy dragons here, let me see if I could find 2 different ones here, are end game or during game points. If you have the little picture of a sun here, these are actually completed during the game. If you have a little picture of a moon here, this is scoring at the end of the game. So these are just ways of getting extra reputation before the game ends. So once that's done, everyone's going to get their own little screen printed dragon meeple here. I believe if you have the Kickstarter version, you get like a little miniature. And each player gets one of these handy dandy player guides. You will also shuffle up this enchantment deck. There's 2 different types of enchantments. There's these purple and then there's these gold. You're just going to pick which one you want to use before the game starts and use that deck. It's suggested for your first game you use these purple enchantments, but you're going to go ahead and place 5 of them out. Lastly, you're going to make up the new building deck. So you already placed out your 6 starter buildings and you put the starter dragons out with them. You're going to then take one of each building type from this giant deck of buildings and 4 specialty buildings. These are the normal types. You're going to have your potion, you're going to have your diamonds. This is a specialty building with the dragon. This one here is one of the iron ones. That's a normal one. Here's the meat one, which is a normal one. Here's the garden one, which is a normal one. Bread one, and these are all special ones. This one here is a good of any type. This one here is a coin, and this one here is a good of any type. Now, a good thing to mention is you can enchant the buildings that have a good of any type, but you can't enchant buildings with a coin, and you can't enchant buildings that have this dragon on here because there's none matching, and I'll show you that in a second. You're going to decide whoever's going to go first and start off the game. The game is going to go until either this enchantment deck runs out or the dragon deck runs out. At that point, everyone else gets 1 turn, and then the game ends. The person with the most reputation at the end of the game is the winner. So, what do you do on your turn? There's only 2 things you really can do on your turn. You can either gather, which means you can go to one of these spots and gather all the goods, or you can enchant a place. Either way, you can't be in the same place that you were a previous turn. So at the beginning of the game, you can go out to any of the spaces. When you gather, you're going to take a look at all the symbols that are available. This will include if you actually enchant the place and there's more symbols there. So if later on, if this place got enchanted, so just say it did, and I went here, I would have got 2 anvils, and I get 1 for each symbol that has a dragon on there, so I would get 3 anvils. So that would be the first part of gathering. The next thing is I can place a dragon at that location. And you'll have, I at least have your 3 starter dragons. You can pick them up through different means throughout the game. So I can look here, and here I can take an anvil or a potion dragon. Here I can take a potion dragon. If I place a anvil dragon here, I'll get a coin. So I'll go ahead and get a coin and put it in my supply. Coins are wild goods, so they're really helpful, but they're also reputation points at the end of the game. So you can store those up and get some more points at the end of the game, or you can use them. The last part of gathering is I may fire off one of these dragons, and what that means is I can make one of them spout flames. So if I wanted to, I could do this dragon's ability, which is gain 2 of 1 good from the shop, or a dragon. And when I gain a dragon, I can gain one of the face-up dragons over there, or one off the top of the deck. After that, the only thing left on gathering is if there is a special ability on the site. None of the starter sites have it, but later on when we place out these sites, they will. And I could do this ability across here too if I want during the gather action. Finally, I check to see if let's say this is later on in the game, and which can happen on the first turn depending, because some of them let you place another dragon in town. So I'm just going to say that this dragon also got placed. Once 3 dragons are at the site, you immediately will flip over immediately at the end of your turn, flip over a new building that now is available for people to play on. And that is all you get to do during your gather action. The other action you get to do is enchant. And when you enchant, you're basically taking a look at these. So I'm going to take a look at this one here. And I have to spend these goods. So it's going to be a leaf, 2 diamonds, and 3 meat. So if I have that, I can spend that. And I'll get the reward down on the bottom here, which is going to be a bunch of reputation to help me win the game. I have to be at a shop that allows this type of symbol. So right now, there's only this starter shop allowed that has that. Once I fulfill this, I get the reward on the bottom, and I get to place this on the shop. And now I would have had to move here a different turn, so I couldn't do that same turn. I'd have to move somewhere else, and then when I moved back here, then I could enchant. And the last thing you get to do, which is really cool for enchant, is you get to fire off all 3 of these dragons, and you get to use all their abilities. Now, if there's 1 dragon there, you only get to fire 1. If there's 2, you get to fire 2. But so you can plan to try to maximize out your enchantment action. And those are the 2 actions that you can do. Through enchantment action and firing off all the dragons, you could fill a shop, and then in that place you'd pop out another shop. That's it. That's basically what you're going to be doing on your turns. You're going to either be gathering goods, or you're going to be enchanting shops. And like I said, this will continue until the dragon deck runs out or the enchantment deck runs out. At that point, the game ends. Everyone gets 1 more turn, and the person with the highest reputation wins. So let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. So Flamecraft is an amazing game. I really love how streamlined your turns are. You're either going to gather or craft, and there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with either of those. As the game goes by, your actions seem more and more amazing. It is so rewarding to go to the different sites and get like a billion goods and fire off a dragon and do all this cool stuff. And then it's so rewarding to enchant a location, get those points, and then fire off all those dragons and to do the different combos. Just such an amazing game, and I really like how they lined it up for new places coming out, and new places have store abilities, so they entice you to go over there and you get lots of points at those different places. It just really feels like every turn is amazing, and I really appreciate that. So every turn of the game of Flamecraft, I feel like I'm getting to do amazing things. My turns are really awesome, and just thinking about my next awesome turn. I love the art on the game is amazing. Component quality is amazing. Do I wish I got the Kickstarter version? Yes, I would love to get the Kickstarter version. And from what I see, I can get the Kickstarter parts separately. So I'm probably going to do that. I do appreciate the nicer price point without the Kickstarter stuff. So at least I know that I love the game first, and I don't mind, you know, blinging it out. Really, I mean, it is an amazing game. It is, I would consider it great for people that have been in the board game hobby and play tons of games. And I would consider it great for people who are just getting into the hobby, because the rules are really easy to teach. It's, you know, it might take a little bit to get into it for someone who's never really played any of the modern board games, but it's still not hard to, you know, to teach in general. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the neoprene mat that comes with it. That is amazing. It's so nice. It's a huge game board too. So it is much better as a neoprene mat than it would have been as a fold-up board, because probably would have to have a lot of creases to fit in here, and then it would probably got damaged at those creases over time. Especially since I believe this game is going to get to a table a lot, and I am putting this one in my personal collection. Super happy, super awesome game. Love Flamecraft and highly recommend trying it out. So that's my thoughts on Flamecraft. Thank you for watching.